Kia ora, good evening. Invercargill's iconic water tower and the adjacent control building have been confirmed as earthquake prone and may require $600,000 to $1.5 million in repairs. The 124-year-old building has been closed to the public for 18 months due to possible earthquake risks. Council's consultants Becker have provided a report outlining strengthening options for both buildings at 34% or 67% of new building standards. Indicative costs are $620,000 and $1.54 million respectively. Legislation is likely to be introduced that would require the tower to be strengthened to at least 34% of national standards or be demolished. Fonterra says it's achieved record sales and revenues from its 2 August global dairy trade auctions. The company says it's achieved its highest ever monthly revenue through global dairy trade in August, selling close to 110,000 metric tonnes worth $685 million. Fonterra Chief Executive Theo Spearing says the past 2 events show continued confidence in products and strong demand for many key markets. The sales volume was up 27% on the same time last year and revenue more than doubled. The current forecast is for a 15% decline over the next 12 months. Dead animals, used nappies and live ammunition are just some of the dangerous or gross things Southlanders have put in their recycling bins. An average of 25 tonnes of recyclable materials are processed at Southland Disability Enterprises every day. An estimated 9% of material collected from yellow recycling bins in Invercargill is contaminated. The most common contaminants are clothing, rotten food, electrical items and garden waste. City Council checks bins, warning people for disposing of non-recyclable items. The problem has grown, with the council taking a harder line.
We'll be doing more inspections. Expect that if you've got green waste, food waste or anything really bad in your bins, you're not going to get your bins emptied ever by us, and we will keep re-monitoring and bringing in line a policy where that we can actually remove the service from you.
So how often are dangerous items actually being found in wheelie bins?
It's actually not that often, but you probably get 3 or 4 gas bottles coming in every week, and then ammunition comes in during duck shooting and hunting seasons and stuff, but not a lot. It's probably 1, maybe 2 every month. It just adds up over time.
How concerning is it?
It's very concerning, especially when you consider that we've actually got compacting vehicles, so something could actually explode or ignite in there. When it comes to the recycling trucks and something exploding and you've got a lot of paper in there, we're just driving around in a potential fireball. So it's not great. And then when it gets to the plant itself, we're in an industrial area in town. It's actually hand sorted. This stuff can actually be very dangerous.
This isn't a new problem in terms of people putting the wrong items in wheelie bins, is it?
No, sadly it's not, but it is starting to be a growing problem. And this is our 2nd year of having these wheelie bins, and in the first year we were around 5% contamination. Now we're up to 9%. So we obviously need some help from people because they're the ones who put the contents in the bins, and we just want people to be doing it right.
So is this an education campaign, or is council looking to find people who are doing it wrong?
A little bit of both. We do actually have to update our bylaw, and one of the things that we have found over the last 2 years is that some people do need to have the service removed because they're just plainly ignorant and using the yellow bin as a rubbish bin. So now it's a matter of educating those people who are willing to take that on, and then having the tools in our box to penalise people that are just abusing the system.
Student numbers have risen 50% at Invercargill's Te Wharekura or Orowhenua in the past 3 years. The school's roll now sits at 120 compared to about 80 in 2010. The kura caters for Year 1 to Year 13 pupils, with all subjects taught in Māori, with the exception of English, a compulsory subject. Principal Ani Wainui hopes student numbers will sit at around 200 in 5 years' time. She says growth is continuing in the junior classes, with Year 1 to 4 pupils now accounting for half the roll.
I think we've made an effort to meet with kohanga reo and just word getting around, I think. Got some new teachers in as well. All pretty positive.
Now, with the growth in junior numbers here, is that something that's being seen at other kura around the country as well?
Don't know, we're so isolated down here, I don't really take too much notice of what's happening up there, but most of the kura kaupapa under our regime, Te Matua, are growing, so it's been quite interesting.
Do you expect you will continue to see growth in the future?
I think so, because our kids are a lot more competent and confident when they're in here on two sides, yeah.
After the break, why more beer will soon be flowing at the Invercargill brewery. Welcome back. Invercargill Brewery will soon more than double its production with a new brewery under construction in the city. The new site, a former engineering workshop on Leet Street, will double the size of the brewery. This means the business can up production and make 400,000 litres of beer a year. Property owner Wilson Universal Limited is undertaking the $500,000 renovation. The brewery started in a converted cowshed on the outskirts of Invercargill in 1999 and moved to its present site in 2006. Brewer Steve Nelly says the new brewery is a massive move.
So what we've done is, when we move in, we'll be able to annually do 400,000 litres, but the building itself lends itself to 1.5 and then possibly up to about 3.5 million with some more expansion. So we've made sure that with this move we've got enough space to expand, future-proof ourselves. So
How much demand is there for beer?
at the moment, the craft end of the market is moving like 25% a year. So in the scheme of things, that's a lot. And over the last few years, we've had like 49% growth, 30% growth. So it's definitely it's almost like a cult movement, really, craft brewing. And yeah, it's quite dynamic. Yeah, it's cool.
So for Invercargill Brewery, why do this move now?
Because we want to do it a year ago. It's just taken time. We projected out that in 3 years' time we would doubled our capacity, so it seemed wise to think about it and get moving on. We wanted to be here a year ago. Yep.
And it's actually been even longer than that in the planning, hasn't it?
Yeah. So it's been about a 4 year time frame. It's going from that initial thought and turning it into this is, we always say good things take time, and we're here now.
So in terms of the move, when do you actually expect to move in?
I reckon, all going well, we should be in by November this year. That's all we can say. The Arrow guys are doing a great job, and they'll manage it really well, and they've given us that rough timeline. So.
After 31 years at the helm of the H&J Smith family business, Managing Director Acton Smith has announced he's stepping down to be replaced by his eldest son, Jason. The father and son have worked together for the past decade, and the handover has been in the planning for some time. Mr. Smith will hand over day-to-day running of the business to enable him to dedicate more time to his role in the rebuild of Stadium Southland. He will remain a lifetime director of the company. Mr. Smith Sr. took over from his father, Jock Smith, in 1982. Southlanders may now be better prepared for an emergency, but are not as ready as the rest of the country, according to a Colmar Brunton survey of emergency preparedness. 93% of Southlanders have emergency survival items, compared with 85% nationally, and Southland is above average for emergency planning, with 63% having an emergency plan, up 5% on the national average. However, just 9% are fully prepared for an emergency, compared to 17% nationally. Emergency Management Southland manager Neil Cruikshank says there's work underway to promote emergency plans in the workplace, with workshops for businesses to establish continuity plans before the end of the year. The survey included 68 Southlanders. And that's it from news. Coming up in sport, 2 bouts from the Southland Boxing Champs. We'll leave you now with the week that was. Good night.